Well, hello. I was having a lot of fun here with AEP, and admittedly, I'll say this is my first AEP I got to experience. Excuse me, here as I got to keep myself awake tonight. But what I've uh, what I've got to experience has been pretty unique, to say the very least. And what I'm seeing a lot of is the world here in uh, I'm in Minnesota and seeing so many people that have uh, had UCare specifically, and all the people that are getting their plans dropped. And what's um, what's what's unique about it is, kind of like the backlash that we get. At least I'll say that I'm receiving a little bit when I hear people say that like they start to basically like take it out of me that I took away their insurance because it's an advantage plan, and what I when I sat down with one that was pretty fired up when I was chatting with them, and they had said, they started blaming me, essentially saying, you are all the Medicare brokers and agents that are AHIP certified and be able to sell the Advantage plan. Said, this is what you guys do. You do this just so then you can make a sale again for the next year, and it's all a big scam and all that. And I had asked. I said, let her de-escalate, so to speak. Once she calmed down, I said, all right, well, if you're done, if you need to vent a little bit more, keep going. But if not, let me know when it's my turn to talk, because I want to listen, and I'm writing down the notes of what you're frustrated with. So when she went on again, and finally when it became my turn again, I said, all right, well, let's look at the opposite side of this for now, okay? And again, this isn't a one plan is better than the other, because anybody who's worth their salt in the world of Medicare, and selling supplements or the Advantage plans, it is an absolute individual conversation. Everybody's needs are different. If somebody does not have, two nickels to rub together, there's no supplement plan that's going to fit their needs ever, because they don't have it. So thank God that there are, Advantage plans that have zero costs for the monthly premium that they're available. But that's the risk we take, when you take an Advantage plan, and you see that you're going to have a zero cost. You have to think for a moment, like, how can I expect that this plan will stay around forever, right? So you have to have that in the back of your mind, like, this plan might not be around. This isn't the first time we've heard of an Advantage plan going away. But it's happening, just currently, and it's there's a lot of volatility with it. The other side of that, again, too, is just if somebody has if they can't afford a supplement plan, well, then they're just going to have to pay the price of not having anything, and hope that they don't get sick. And we're not getting into the conversation of that everything should be cheaper. I would agree with that, for just about everything, because then, well, you could afford more, right? But when it comes to the Advantage, like I said in this conversation, as I said to her, I said, well, just think of the opposite here. So now she's been on an Advantage plan for it was 6 years. She's been on Advantage plans, and I said, look at all the great care that you have received, and she admitted she hasn't had to pay a premium for any of them for 6 years. I said, step back for a second and really look at that, and can I just say it? Be a little bit grateful for what you've had. She's gone through some major health scares and such, and didn't have to pay a ton, because that's the advantage of the Advantage plan. She didn't have to pay a lot, and but the fact that she was able to get through all this stuff, she had all of her prescription drugs were taken care of, and the fact that she had dental done and had very minimal costs because of that Advantage plan. And when we look back, and she had showed me the quote that she originally had for her supplement plan that was the most affordable at the time. And keep in mind, too, of course, that was just the supplement. It wasn't anything with the prescription drugs that she ended up needing over the years, and then also with the dental, that she didn't factor that in at all, and her vision, because she wore glasses. When we looked at the costs, what she would have spent, the supplement plan that she was originally going to take was going to cost her 156 or something like that. I wouldn't say $150 was what her plan was going to cost her per month. So when you do that simple math on it here, when she did the $150 over the year, and taking it into the 6 years, she was somewhat over $10,000, and she hasn't spent that much, not even a quarter of that, in her medical bills and everything because of her Advantage plans. I said, so we really want to take a moment look at that. And she said, well, the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't have been able to have anything at all, if the Advantage plan wasn't available. So again, this isn't like a pitch just for the fact that of the Advantage plan, because I can tell you a different story of another one that hindsight's an exact science. Should have been on a supplement plan from the beginning because of because of it being an exact science of looking back. And where they had to pay quite a bit of extra money because of the fact that they weren't on a supplement plan. So you got to remember, everything is it is, unfortunately, for both. It's a gamble for health or a gamble for finances. And I would have to say, and if you want to, if you need any help with anything at all regarding your Medicare, as you see this here, you could go right to my website. It's in the link here, medicare.chrisnewpower.com/2026. And I'll be able to I'll be able to reach out to you there once you fill out the form of what you're looking for, and we can have a chat. But this is, this is the thing, is that, we have to know, especially, teaching into your kids, your children in their 40s and 50s, moms and dads, or is to say, you have to start paying attention to this stuff early. And also understand too the biggest cost factors that are going to come when you're getting older is the potential of that nursing home, and what does that mean? And the easiest thing for somebody to do is just to die, right? And there's still costs with that, but the easiest thing for somebody to do is die. The fact of the matter is that we don't get away with it that easy. That people end up getting sick and they stay in hospitals or go in nursing homes and spend quite a bit of money, and there's not a lot of planning that goes along with it. And that's where you want to plan out your finances, of looking at the future costs. There's great websites out there that can show the cost of what things will cost in the future, so you can have an idea. But to build that financial nest egg, and I'll say, not for paying for we'll say like a nursing home, because you're going to have to make significantly high dollar amounts to yearly to be able to set that aside. And that's not going to be everybody. Obviously, it's going to be very few people in the population. But why not prepare a nest egg for a monthly payment for whatever that's going to be? If you're not going to be able to afford it now, if you can't fit that into the budgets, then looking at investments that could even get to that, where you'll have money set aside for the monthly payments if you have to. Now, I'm not going to go down through a whole talk on that, but this is just something that when I ran into somebody who said that's what they had done, I wish I could take it for to say it was my idea, but that's one of the things that they had done, is they had looked forward and said, this is what I'm going to I'm going to put into a bank account, so then it'll be with me and I can have monthly payments on my on an insurance plan that they wanted in the future, because they look forward and saw what the costs were going to be and say, this is just what I'm going to be able to afford. So, but back into the AEP and the adventures there, I'll say this, if you know somebody who is on Medicare, and if they are not working with a broker or an agent, and they're doing things on their own, I would say to them, what I would say, encourage them to get a broker or an agent to be their agent of record. So then you have an advocate. You have somebody who, when you want to do it on your own, and that's cool. That's cool. Right? It doesn't cost anything to have an agent of record. All you do is sign a document and say, this is my agent. This is my guy. This is my gal. And you want them to be your agent of record, because when something goes wrong, you don't have to be the one that sits on the phone. You're not the one that sits on hold. You can have your agent, your broker, do the work for you. Okay? Because they're your agent. They're your broker. And those are the ones that can get you the answers faster and with a better explanation. And also, they're going to do it when you're available, when it's going to be convenient for you. Okay, because then you could go about your day, and then let's just say you're talking to them at night, because during the day they were the ones that were sitting on the phone for you, fighting for you and being your advocate. And that's what you're going to want. You're going to want that alone. And then who knows? Maybe then the next year you just say, you know what? I don't want to do this on my own anymore. It's too confusing. Everything's changing. All the rules change. Most of the time people, when they research their plans, they choose one company, typically the one that they're with, and that's what they go with. And they just research onto them. They don't look at all the other ones, because why? It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And you're not looking at at plans, plan after plan after plan after plan like we do, where we see them all, and then we're able to make sense of everything. And when there's something important to you, we're able to say, I know what plan I should put you on, because this is the one that's hitting all the buttons that you want to have taken care of for you and what's important to you. So I'll just say in closing here, remember this. With if you get lucky enough and you have like somebody like me knock on your door, number one, I will say this, and I'm a little biased because obviously I'm the one that's knocking on a door right now saying this, but if somebody's knocking on your door, you need to step back for a second and think to yourself, if this is a Medicare agent or a broker, and they should be able to tell you their national producer number and their state license number, so you know they're legal, legitimate, and honest, and they're approved to work with you. This person drove to you. They drove to your house, to your apartment, to say, I'm willing to help you at no cost. So if you're going through a call center, if you're just doing it on your own, just remember, you're doing it on your own. You're doing this with somebody that you've never met. And this person came to your door, potentially shook your hand and said, I want to help. That is priceless in our society today. And I'm a little bit biased on it, admittedly, but this is something that you do not want to do on your own. Just trust me on this. You don't want to do Medicare on your own. You want to have a broker or an agent helping you. So if you found the value in this at all here, feel free to like and subscribe to here. You'll see a lot more data or a lot more posts coming up here, and a lot more content. And also, like I said, you can go right to my website, medicare.chrisnewpower.com/2026. That's medicare.com, chrisnewpower.com/2026. So thanks so much for hopping on here. And those of you get the replay, I appreciate you checking me out. You guys have a great day.